Now then guys, this morning we're taking out this old Powermatic. We're putting a 5070 oil boiler in. We've got to do something with the flue. So we're putting a Worcester 5070 in. We've got basically on this one, we've got flow and return. This only does heating, it doesn't do hot water. So we're going to put a new pump in. The pump's through there in the house. This is like the garage or the barn bit. We've obviously got, you probably can't see that, but the 5 valve at the minute is next to the boiler, so we're going to move that, sort all the oil line out. This boiler's dead, basically. It's end of life now. So I think these are 42mm flow and return, so we'll have to reduce these to 35 for the tappings on the new boiler. So yeah, pretty much that's the job. So just waiting to get in the house at the minute. We're going to isolate the coal feed, get it drained down, and we'll see how bad the water is. I imagine it's going to be pretty manky, because there's bits of iron and stuff like that on the system. It's quite a big house. So yeah, that's today's job anyway. We're going to get some proper lighting set up in here in a minute. The worst bit's basically going to be getting this boiler out and the flue set up, basically, I think. It's obviously a vertical flue kit. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing anyway. And I'll try and get some shots if I can. So we're going to cut this out as well. We're going to change this 25-55 pump as well. So we're just up in the roof bit. I'm going to isolate coal feed. I'm not too sure what's going on with this pipework arrangement, but we'll have a look. We've got, I don't know what's going on there. We'll have a look anyway. Just chuck the hose in the drain. Don't think the drain off tap will work. We'll have a look. So I think the drain off tap is about knackered. I think it leaks more out the head than it does out the spindle than it does out the thing, but it's 3/4 as well. So what I'll do is I'll get a tray down and see if I can pack that around. Because I mean, we're only in a barn anyway, so it's not the end of the world. We've got the light set up now, so probably see the 5 valve better. We need to move that, we can't have that there. So yeah, we'll sort that. So yeah, we'll basically get it drained down and then we'll see if we can get it removed then. Oh, it's not looking too dirty. I thought it'd be a bit dirtier than that. A little bit black. So we've got the hose running full bore actually, which is good. So we've just got to wait for that to drain and then we can start to get the boiler out then. Right, so we've got the thing all drained down now. Hose has pretty much stopped running. So we can safe to cut the pipes off now, I think. Obviously, we'll mark up flow and return, but it's pretty obvious anyway on this. Obviously, flow out the top, return in the bottom. Disconnect that flue. The one thing I would say, you've got to be careful with like asbestos and stuff like this on these old boilers, because sometimes they can contain asbestos, so it's always worth checking to basically make sure you're okay. And always put your face fit mask and stuff like that on, just in case. And obviously if you do come across any asbestos, you need to stop and obviously notify your relevant person. But yeah, we're going to get this out next, and yeah, hopefully the new boiler turns up soon. It's supposed to be coming first drop, but we'll wait and see. In case anybody wondering what that was, that's a draft stabiliser. You sometimes see them on stoves as well, wood burners. It basically stabilises the draft in the flue, so it can flap. You don't really see many anymore on oil boilers, and that's an old safety blow off. And yeah, we're just getting a little bit more water out of the boiler. We just cut this blow off, and it's just breathed in a bit. But my mate's just popped back up in the roof because we think the coal feed is just ever so slightly letting by, so we're going to bung the tank off. Disconnected the flue out of it. It's just the flue. I doubt the flue will have any asbestos in. You should always check, obviously, but it's modern twin wall. It's obviously been replaced at some point. The flue is not original to the boiler. I'm not too sure what we're going to do at the top yet. It's quite a nice lead slate somebody's made. So if it fits, well, probably the Worcester one will be smaller, but I might either make a new slate up or something. I'll have a look at that anyway. So yeah, I'm just trying to strip as much weight off the boiler as I can, because this is going to be a heavy old lump. So as I say, we'll cut the flow off. The return is just trickling out. So yeah, it's going okay. It's just obviously once we get that done, we can start obviously get the boiler out then. But yeah, all should be good. Right, we've got the new boiler on site now. They're fairly heavy, but I can normally move them. I've got my mate with me anyway. They're 240. We've just got to get the old one out. I think the old one's heavier than the new one actually. So I'm going to get my wheels out. I might even get some rollers out, and we'll just roll it out. So yeah, that's why I got it delivered, because I didn't fancy putting it in the back of my van. Right, got the old boiler out. I'm going to get some rollers in the morning, and we'll just roll it outside, and then we'll use the telehandler to move it, I think. Cut the return off. It's basically stopped. That's obviously our flow. That's our flow. Condens's got to go that way. There's a drain just on the outside, but we'll lag all this inside and stuff as per regulations. We just need to have a good tidy up now, and we'll get the boiler in. We've got to put the tappings in on the boiler, and on them 50/70s I think you've got to make the airbox thing up, but I'll have a look at that in a second. So yeah, basically tidy up time, have a tidy up, yeah, so we can get the new boiler in. I don't know if you still have to make the airbox up on these. You used to have to. I'll check the instructions. Basically what we've got turn connection here. That can be our flow, or that one, but you have to blank one off obviously. And then normally there's a drain off, but again they might change them. I thought they used to have 4 tap-ins. It's a long while since they've done a 50/70, but that's why you should always read the instructions, I suppose. But either way, it's easy enough for us. So we've got irons to go in here. They normally send you a blank as well for us to do, to blank one off, but we'll have a look anyway. But yeah, that's the boiler basically. I took the cases off, or we'll take all the cases off so it don't get damaged, and we just get it in. Right, so there's no airbox you have to make up on these anymore, which saves a bit of time. What I'm going to do is bush that one down and put a blow off in that, I think. I know it's open vent, but I always think it's better in case anything freezes or anything like that. I'm going to put 1.25" main line into here. That'll go onto my flow. I'm going to put the filter on here. That'll go onto the return, and that's pretty much it with the connections. And then that elbow goes on there like that, obviously pushed all the way in, and then flew straight out the top. So yeah, that's how it goes anyway. So I've made all my fittings up on the back. I've just used the compression on here, so it makes it easier if you have to disconnect the boiler. My flue's fully inserted. Just lube it up really well and push it in, and then I'm just going to fit this bracket back on here if I can to support the back of the flue. But yeah, then we can get the boiler in position there and start piping it up. That's why it's so heavy, because it's full of water. Got a wet foot, thank Worcester for that. Absolute full. Obviously we're just struggling to get it up the step a little bit. It's quite heavy, but we'll get there. I've done these before in the past. I've had to get them in basements and all sorts, so this one's not too bad. We've only got to get it to there. So it's absolutely full of water. It must have had, I don't know, 10 litres in that. All in my sock now. Right, we've got the boiler all positioned. What we're trying to do is line the flue up, obviously to go through the old hole. So that's the most important bit. Obviously the pipes are a lot easier to alter than the flue. I bent a little bit of 28, but that's by the by. Nobody got hurt, which is the main thing. I used to fit these by myself when I was a lot younger. I don't know how I used to do them, but I used to do them. Once you get them on rollers, they're not too bad. So we've got it all on the slab. As I say, we're going to do the flue first while it's not raining, and then we've just got the pipe work sorted. And then obviously condense, we've got the pump to do, wiring, flush the system, inhibit, check it's all working, oil line. It's a bit to crack on with yet, but at least we've got the thing in position now. I've got the bit on the roof all done. I just trapped my finger and it's absolutely killing me. I think I've just given myself a big blood blister. Basically when I pulled the old flue out from the top, it was lifted up a little bit, and I put my finger on top of the slate and it just dropped down, so there's quite a bit of weight on it. But we're all good. So I need to clip this obviously, and then clip the next section, and then work it onto my elbow. But yeah, that's basically, it's probably not quite level yet, but we can get that in a second. I've just set my laser up, dead centre of the boiler, dead centre of the slate at the top, so we've got 2 points to work to now. So we can get we're going to fix some timbers on the wall, so much for the brackets to screw into, so we get nice solid fixings, because the wall's a bit all over the place. So as I say, I'll put a couple of brackets, if not 3 on it. We just need to cut a short section, obviously, to make up the distance there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's life. So we know we'll get it dead plumb. In theory, I can mess anything up. Right, they've sent me 4 lengths of pipe, flue pipe. I don't need that many, but somebody's robbed all the clips out of them. You see they've taped the end of the boxes. The clips basically should be in the end, but 2 of them ain't got clips. So I've only got 2 clips plus the plus the one with the vertical flue kit. So it's not very nice for somebody to rub all your clips, but I don't know why they don't I don't know why they don't fasten them in the box or something. You can literally just put your hand in and take the clips out of them. Right, we've got the first section of flue in. I've not screwed it yet at the bottom. It requires screwing, obviously, but it's nice and solid. They're just grease marks where I've greased the pipe up, mucky fingers and all. So I just need to cut this section to go in between, another bracket on there, and then I'll try and get one close to the top as well. Yeah, should be, obviously you want your flue nice and solid. And then basically all I've got to do is pipe it up, which is nice and easy really. Right, that's most of the flue in now. I just need to do something at the top with the bracket. But it's all nice and secure at the bottom anyway. I just need to put the screws in as well, but I'll show you. So it's absolutely rock solid. I need to wipe all the grease off. But just need to probably go off that timber and then across with the angle bracket, just hold it. I don't think it'll go far anyway, but that should be fine. Once we get that done, we've got a bracket on each section then. So we've got one there, and then one at the top. So yeah, that looks alright I think. And then that's the worst bit of the job really. We've just got to pipe it up then. So return, have to go into the bottom one with the filter and then the flow, come up and then into here somehow, and then just the oil and the condense. Right, the flue's all in and level. It's all set up with the laser. So I've bracketed it at the top as well. It's got one on each section basically now. It's really solid. I just need to go and check outside to make sure it's still plumb. It should be. It's all plumb in here. So yeah, happy with that. I just need to fix it with the screws that Worcester supply, and then I can crack on with the rest of the pipework then. Right, my flue is absolutely solid. It's all got 2 screws in each joint now. I've put them around the backs and the sides so you can't see them. So I'm more than happy with that. It's well clipped, well supported. You know, you could swing off that, it won't move. So yeah, that's pretty much, well, one of the important things. Your flue is on any appliance, whether it's gas, oil, solid fuel, you know, your flue is really important. So that one's all in. I'm happy with that. Obviously your oil supply is important as well. Do that to regs, and then your pipe work. Obviously that all needs to be neat and tidy as well, but your flue is one of the most important bits on any job. But that one's all in. Now I'm going to put my filter here so it's nice and easy to access. It's going to come basically along, that's the return there, and the return is the bottom one. So it'll come along probably 45 out and then into the filter there. So there'll be a couple of joints. Probably put a drain off tap down there as well, thinking about it, because that's quite a low point. There is a drain off tap down there as well on the boiler, but that'll probably, well, it probably would drain, but I think it'd be better if I put one down there. At least then if one doesn't work, you've got 2 chances. So that's how I'm going to do that. And then the flow, it'll just come along in 35mm up and then basically into here, but it'll have to put an air tap on here. I've got a safety valve. I've got a safety valve on there as well. And then my oil, basically the 5 valve was down there before. Obviously it can't be next to the boiler, so we're going to have to put that outside. That'll come along. I'll just do it in 10mm. I'll use a 10 to 15 compression reducer, that's all in 15. It'll come along basically around the back, and then try and get it into here. And then the condense is on this side, so it'll have to come around the back. It'll have to come along because there's a nib, and then there's a drain basically on the other side of that wall on the outside. So we'll have to lag it really well so it doesn't freeze. We'll probably put an air brake as well in case it did ever freeze. It won't stop the boiler. But that's the plan anyway. So that's the centre of my fit in. What I'm going to do is basically come along with that T and that drain off, and then come basically straight up into my filter. So that'll sit like that, and then straight up. That's the return all connected in then. Obviously we can bleed the air through the filter, and then the flow will have to 45 out, up, and then basically into here. So nice and easy. We've got plenty of room with our pipework to more or less do what we like. Right, that's the return all soldered up. I'm actually getting quite used to using this quickfire now, but I bought a Superfire too, but it's in the van. So that, as I say, that's all connected up. Obviously I've took the drain off tap out, the middle out, so don't melt. So I just need to tighten everything up here. That return's all connected, and then just the flow to do. I'm going to come with my flow off the top of the boiler, put an air tap on there, basically along along the back, that old bit 15 will come out, drop down this side of the filter and then into the flow. That way I'm not crossing anything over then. I don't know why I didn't see it before, but sometimes when you're working you just don't see. So basically come along, up, across, and then in with an air tap. And then, as I say, that's all the pipe work done. My mate's just doing the pumps up in the roof. Well, like the, I don't know what you call it, like it's a roof bedroom bit. So then we can get filled up then. Right, we're just getting some of this 35mm worked in. I try and solder up quite a bit of it out of position. It just makes life a bit easier. But yeah, basically it's just going to come along, as I said it before, up and then in. I've got most of it made up now. I don't know if you guys can quite see, but yeah, most of it's made up. Just got to get it all soldered up, and then, as I say, if my mate gets the bit in the other bit done, we can get filled up then. Right, that's how it's going to be done. I just need to finish soldering this up. I hate it when they put labels on pipes, and sticky labels. I'm going to put the air tap here, not inside the boiler. It don't really make any odds. Just thought the case and everything will go on a lot easier then. So yeah, basically just finish soldering that up, and that's all the connections done then. It's got the PRV to finish as well, but that's tightened on so we can fill up. So yeah, going okay. My mate's just gone up in the roof to turn the cold feed back on, but basically it's all piped up now by the oil and the condense. So I think that looks okay. So we've got an auto air vent here at the high point, so this will bleed all out the boiler. Got a blow off there, as I already said. So it's just a case of waiting for it to vent, and we need to go around and bleed all the radiators. We're going to come back tomorrow, flush the system, finish the oil line, the condense, basically all the bits and bobs. Electrician will do the wiring. It probably needs a frost stat and a pipe stat in here as well. We've got a new programmer to go on. So yeah, basically bring it all up to regs. I think this only does the heating, and then there's the Arga or the SE does the hot water. So I think that's how it works anyway. I'm going to debadge the boiler. I don't think I've got a Powermatic. I'll just drill these 2 rivets out. I think the plate will come off. I like keeping the badges off the old boilers. I've got a thing for stuff like that. That was the bit of pipe work we cut out. I think it was leaking on that end feed, on that soldering fitting. So we basically put a new pump and everything in. It's basically day 2 now as well. So what I'm going to do for a start is get the oil line done. I'm going to put a secondary filter on, 5 valve outside. Then I'm going to wire it up, and then I'm going to put my flush machine on it. All my Magna cleanse. So yeah, basically I can do all the condense because I've got to drill through that wall over there. There's a drain, there's a back inlet gully on the other side. So that wall's about, I don't know, it's quite thick. So whilst it's flushing and basically I'm testing the system, I can be doing the condense and everything. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. So oil line first, then I'm going to wire it, then I'm going to get the Magna cleanse on it. So not too bad. Yesterday we got all filled up last night, so we'll go around and check the radiators in a bit as well. With oil lines now, you must use the insert. You can't just use basically the compression joint, you have to use the insert inside your copper. I always use this stuff, held tight. It's suitable for oil and seawater, it says. So that's all I ever use. So insert and held tight. And then on these fittings, I use PTFE and held tight. It's about the only thing I use PTFE for, because Loctite is not suitable for oil. I used Loctite 55 at my own house and never had a problem, but obviously I'm not going to recommend something where manufacturers say it's not. So use PTFE and held tight and you shouldn't have a problem. But yeah, it is regulation now to use inserts. You can flare it, but I just use the inserts. And I try to bend most of my oil line up in one piece if I can. So that's what the joint looks like. And then I just put some held tight on that, as I said. And then basically just tighten that up, hand tight, and then just a nip. You don't need to go mental with your oil because it's obviously only microbond, it's quite soft copper. So just nip it up. Once you've used the insert, it shouldn't crush the pipe. So it should be fine. So that's what the joint looks like when it's all made up. You can see the insert inside the pipe. The pipe's got nice and square, and as I say, it's just nipped up, and that shouldn't leak. what I'm going to do is come into my room. I'm going to put a secondary shut off. So I'm going to go valve, then I'm going to put a secondary filter in. So if there's any contaminants in the line that the first filter hasn't picked up, this will pick it up. It'll basically protect the boiler. So it's good practice. I think Worcester recommend it in their instructions as well. So that's how I'm going to do it anyway. Right, this oil line's not quite done how you're supposed to do it, but I think it'll be fine. So basically I've come in, shut off valve, and I've brought it through the side of the case. But I've drilled a big enough hole so the copper's not touching the case, and I've just put the valve there so it's out the way of the drain off tap. It's not kinked on the hose or anything. It just saved a load of joints right around the back of the boiler. I know I could have bent it all, but I think that looks fine. I'm going to get some Munson clips and just clip this to the floor, and I think that's acceptable. It just reduces the distance, so I think it's fine. I've used a pipe collar where it goes into the boiler. I don't think you ever really need to get these left hand side of the cases off, but if you did, you can just disconnect it there and just disconnect it off the line. So that's how I've decided to do it, right or wrong. I think it looks neat enough. So yeah, that's how I've done it. If you want to dislike it, you can, but that's how it's done on this one. And before anybody mentions the slab's not quite big enough for the boiler, we are going to cast another bit of the slab in front. The builder's going to come do that when he takes the boiler away. So we're just going to extend the plinth. It's fine, the boiler's solid, it's not going anywhere. Obviously it'd have been ideal if the slab had been that much bigger, but I didn't have a slab yesterday, and obviously I needed to get the boiler in, so that's what we're going to do, just to tidy that up. Yeah, as I say, the oil line's not quite correct, but I think it'll be fine. I'm just going to temporarily wire the boiler back up on the old supply. Obviously I realise the oil will need bonding. Obviously we've got to update the controls inside as well. We're going to put a new programmer and a room stat in. So I imagine he'll wire it so the room stat just switches the boiler on and off. But the electrician will sort all that. Basically all I'm going to do is wire it up so we can test all the heat system and everything, basically as it was before. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Obviously we do need to bring it up to building regulations. We don't have to put a 2-pot on it because this is heat only. So all this is doing is the radiators. So we just need to put a room stat in, and we're going to put a new programmer on for the customer as well. So as I say, I want to do this so I can basically test all the radiators and stuff before he comes, so I know I haven't got any problems, any airlocks, any issues. Make sure we've got everything working. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Right, I've just put the power onto the boiler. I've already checked the baffles to make sure they're okay. They're all intact. It's gone to lockout. I'll obviously have to bleed the oil through. What I'll do then is check my pump pressure and then set it all up with the analyzer once it's been running for a bit. But I wanted to kind of get the Magna cleanse on it, and then I'm going to do the condense sort of while the system's running, so I can check all the radiators and stuff. But that wall is going to be a pig to drill through, so that's why I've left it till last. I've just put my pump pressure gauge on now. I've probably got to bleed the oil through, so it'll probably go to lockout again. But sometimes it makes it easier because you can bleed it through here then, so you can just put that straight into a tray. Right, we've got good oil there now. Obviously wear gloves when you're doing oil. I know I haven't got any on, but I didn't actually get any on my hands. But this will reset now, I guarantee this will run, he says. I'll edit it out if it doesn't anyway. So in a second it should fire. It should go with a bit of a whoosh, we hope. If it doesn't, give it a second. There you go, it's fired. So we're checking for pump pressure. I'll double check it with the manufacturer's instructions, but a little bit of air in it yet. But we check pump pressure, and then we can set, once it's run a bit, we can set all the CO2s and everything up on it. But yeah, it's fired now. So it'll take a fair while to heat this house back up, I think. Right, we just need to adjust the pump pressure slightly. So to do that, we just turn the screw above the bleed point. It's hard to film one-handed, but basically we're looking for 145. So we just need to adjust it slightly. That's what it says on here. We're on 60 kilowatt, so 145 or 10 bar oil pressure. So I'm happy with the pump pressure now. I just took my pump pressure gauge off, but I forgot to turn the oil back on, so the boiler's just lit back up. I'm not going to do anything with the air yet until the boiler's nice and warm. Basically you want to let it run 15 minutes, then put your analyzer in, then you can do your smoke readings, and then you can do, obviously set your CO2s up to manufacturer's instructions. So we're just going to leave that basically for the time being, but we will check it obviously before we leave. I try and film this for the 4th time. The camera won't focus, will it? But basically, I've set it all up with the analyzer. The phone has just been manic, so I've just adjusted it on the air basically. So I've set it to manufacturer's instructions. All your readings are in there. I dropped that. So basically, set it all up. Your CO2s, your excess air, and everything. Get all that set. I've set them all to 12.5. So I'm happy with that. So I'm happy the boiler's all commissioned. So basically, we're gonna. Boiler's just shut off now. It's got up to temperature. We've been around and checked all the radiators. We're just gonna put our magnet lens on next, and we're gonna inhibit it. But that's what we're going to do this afternoon. Obviously we've got the pipes to finish lagging and basically a good tidy up in here, but pretty much the job is getting there. Alright, so this is this boiler all installed now. The house is all nice and warm for the people. We've just got the electrician to come yet. He's going to probably reflex the boiler, I don't know, and he'll bond the oil for us as well, and put pipe stat and frost stat as well in here probably as well. He's just got the controls to have a look at inside the house, but basically it's all working now. We've tested all the radiators, we've set all the boiler up. That's it, pretty much our bit done. We've just got to get this beast. I'm not putting it in the back of my van. I'll bring a trailer and we'll put it on a trailer. So yeah, that's this job all done. Thanks for watching this week's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, if you could hit the like button, that would really mean a lot. If you didn't, hit the dislike button, and I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you all for watching.